Brilliant. Right. So where are we then? Rack 4, 5, 5.
Is it 5? I think. Yeah.
What's the score?
4 is it? 4 or 5? 2-1, 2-1 or 3-1, something like that. I think.
I thought you were 4-1.
Is it? Oh, it's something like that. I'll take that one.
If it's my break, we'll go with 4-1. That works.
Yeah.
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 So it's 4-1.
I reckon it's 4-1.
To
Judd.
Of course.
I reckon.
Okay, for what it is. Well, we watch back the videos and we'll see where we are.
It's either 3-1 or 4-1.
We're obviously taking it very seriously because we haven't got a clue who's winning.
Well, I mean, when he mentioned 2-1, that sounded a lot better.
Yeah.
But
I reckon we have done 5.
I recken we'll go with 4-1.
But Ben's going to teach me how to break off properly now. He's going to pot one this time.
Off camera. Yes. Go on then, Ben.
Completely different.
I tell you why that is. Because I racked him and I could see the ball was loose. But we'll carry on anyway.
It's a good.
Sorry, Ben. I can literally see. I can see a gap.
It's a good safety, though.
He's off.
I'm not sure it was a good save.
No, he's off.
Definitely not.
good in his eyes.
Yeah.
Terrible save.
So let's talk snooker now then. So, what's your thoughts on current sort of state of the game?
I think over the last couple of years he's been doing good, but there's still room for improvement, I think, and at the moment probably not quite enough is being done to encourage sort of new younger players. I think the whole amateur game has kind of slipped away, and that's why you've seen so many sort of Asian players coming through compared to the UK, which has normally sort of been our forte, having the top players in the world. So I think over the next 5 or 10 years, you're going to see a lot more Asian Chinese players coming through. But then I think after that period, I think now they're starting to do a bit more about the amateur game over here, and I think you'll see sort of an influx of players. I think you see sort of the top Chinese players taking over for the next few years, but then it's sort of the UK-based players will come back in sort of about 5 years, I think.
Yeah. What had happened to the amateur game then, in your view? Is it just not enough snooker halls or not enough
I just don't think there's been enough sort of marketing. I think snooker's just been left behind by other sports, by tennis, golf and stuff like that. I think you've seen recently sort of tennis and especially golf, just the type of clothing, everything has just taken a massive brand change, and it's so popular nowadays with sort of the younger crowd, and you see so many celebrities getting involved with golf, and I think it's just snooker's just completely left behind, and the way it's been marketed is a little bit sort of outdated, a bit old-fashioned in my eyes.
Yeah. So would you change the clothing in snooker?
Yeah, I think sort of a more relaxed polo shirt, trousers, still smart, but not sort of the bow tie from the 1980s. I don't think really appeals to any kind of
it doesn't look comfortable to play in.
It's not. It's something that I've always expressed. That wearing a bow tie gets in the way of my actual snooker cue. So I don't know any other sport where you'd wear something to hamper yourself playing.
Just to look smart.
Yeah, you're not going to wear sort of massive boots to play football in, because it wouldn't make sense, because it's off-putting. So why would you put something in the way of your cue? It's something that back in the 1970s or 80s, when snooker was made up, they were wearing back then. But
is there any reason that it hasn't changed? Is there a particular reason or person, I don't know if you want to name names as to this person?
Everyone's just set in their ways, I think.
And how do you reckon that could change then?
Well, you just need to listen to more input from the younger generation, and I'm not.
Is it about the players sort of getting together though? Is that, I don't know, is there player power, or is that politically incorrect if you got together with a few of the guys saying, look, let's try and lobby?
It's something that in the past I've not bothered to say how I feel, but I've got to a point where I don't care what anyone else thinks, but I'm going to say what I want, and if you like it or not, it doesn't matter, because I think I'm speaking on behalf of everyone from the age of sort of 10 up to my age now, 32. And if we carry on like this, I just think I can't see snooker being where it is in 10 years' time. It's just going to get left behind. Yeah,
because I think kids need to envisage themselves feeling cool doing whatever that pursuit is, don't they? And if they can't see themselves wearing a bow tie, they might think, oh, that's not really the game for me then. I'm going to do something that looks a bit cooler.
That's exactly my point. And in all other sports, you get the top player in the sport. If it's tennis, golf, they've always got maybe a certain item of clothing. Like Tiger Woods always wore red on a Sunday. The golf, I know in golf now you're allowed to wear hoodies, a bit more casual, still smart. I still think they look smart, but it's a more sporty approach, and that brings in the big sponsors.
Yep.
Snooker hasn't got that. You've got a shirt that someone's buying off the shelf that doesn't fit, that's hanging out. Snooker is a weird sport because when you bend over, the shirt, a normal size shirt, is just going to fall out. It looks horrible,
do you have
really.
To get special shirts?
Yeah. So now I've got special shirts that are really long, so they don't come out.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
Okay.
Otherwise, it just looks tacky. They're trying to have this whole smart image.
Yeah.
But when you get a snooker cue and you rub it on a bow tie, and the bow tie's halfway over here, and you've got a button undone, you look scruffier than someone else in a smart polo shirt. So,
do you think snooker could be potentially just sort of have some minor changes to either the way that it's played, the number of reds you play in, or the kind of the atmosphere, sort of a special sort of competition where it does have a different dress code and maybe slightly different approach?
It needs a variety of all of them, really. I think in some events it needs shorter formats. As you've seen in other sports, you've got to shorten it because I think the attention span of the viewer over the years has got shorter and shorter, and they want to see action from the very start. Yeah. And in the World Championship and other events, it's a very long, sort of drawn out over a couple of days.
Yeah.
Whereas in other sports now, you're getting a result within an hour or two, and it keeps the viewer entertained. So I think snooker, if you can't sort of shorten, go down to one frame, you may have to look at like 6 reds or something, just to have different varieties of the snooker game, and get a result even quicker, and maybe that will draw different viewers in.
Yeah, better you play a shot. So if you look at cricket, so cricket with 2020, you know, is that quick, short format, but the test scene is still for the purist, and the test matches are still brilliant. You know, the England-India test series that's going on right now is being close, fought and exciting. And so, you know, there could be, couldn't there, a different variety.
There just needs to be a bit of everything rather than just one certain style.
Yeah.
In everything now, there has to be different varieties that are going to bring in different types of viewers, and eventually if someone falls in love with the best of 5 snooker, or maybe a 6 red snooker, 1 frame snooker, and then they'll probably end up falling in love with the game and then go into that traditional sense. So I think it's just an advantage to everyone to have the different varieties. I'm struggling with these roll shots.
That's why Carl was saying to practice a minute, because that is his practice routine, isn't it?
Yeah, this definitely plays a lot tighter than
Is it? Yeah. Yeah.
So what about the other players then? Do you guys talk about this sort of thing between you, or is it not really spoken about? I mean, what's the...
No, I think it's not really until that I spoke out about it a couple of months. I think everyone just kind of let it be, let it go, and it is what it is. But I think since I've managed to speak out, and I got sort of a lot of support from the other players saying that they agree with everything I'm saying, that now that the top snooker players are being a bit more honest with themselves in sort of voicing their opinions, because we're not doing it to benefit ourselves really, we're doing it to try and benefit the future of snooker.
Absolutely. And that's the way it should be taken, isn't it? It's, you know, it's one of those things that once if there's a few of you all think the same thing, then it forms a bit of a movement, doesn't it?
Yeah. I think you need sort of numbers behind you, and if you've got, rather than just having that one person, if you've got like 10 or 20 people backing at the same point, then eventually they're going to have to listen.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
It was very kind.
Yeah, it must have rolled off.
Go left-handed? No. Well played, Ben. Good stuff. So we still don't know what the score is.
4-2.
4-2 we're saying,
4-2,
yeah? You reckon
we'll
that's
go
right?
4-2, yeah.